Hi guys, George here with another video, I suppose. This is concerning Scenario 8, the Bitche Salient in Classic Squad Leader. This scenario has also been reproduced for Advanced Squad Leader. It's taking place in southern Germany in January 14, 1945. Typically, um, you can use the snowboard, although there are no snow rules in effect for this scenario. I would probably make the terrain white as opposed to green. Um, but the starter file is I'm playing it as is. And before we look into the classic game, I'd like to show you the ASL variant and some of the differences here. So the ASL variant, here it is. Of course, the location and date are the same. The board configuration is the same. What's different and interesting are the victory conditions here are a bit more sensical to the extent that the American wins the game at game end by clearing a path of continuous road hexes from the east edge of the board to the west edge of the board, free of good order German MMCs and adjacent to any hex on the road, and are amassing greater than or equal to 20 casualty victory points more than the Germans, which is quite a feat for the Americans to accomplish. On the other hand, in the classic game, it's who forces the one side to which side eliminates the most amount of enemy squads, uh, thus reflecting the objective of the low Vosges campaign, which was simply to wear down the enemy while maintaining a continuous front. And you simply have to keep track of the KIAs and the amount of vehicles eliminated. Um, there are quite more special rules in effect, and they're also different. In the A cell variant, we also have balance, okay, and there is no balance in the classic scenario. There's no classic balance options. The layout or the OB is pretty much similar, except that in the classic game you have uh, two heavy machine guns, but here you have two different types of heavy machine guns. Looks like this one here is a Browning, um, and more MMGs as the Americans, and actually the same amount of MMGs and the same amount of bazookas. In terms of the armored fighting vehicles, they look quite similar. Yep. Um, Except here in the classic variant, there's one without any machine guns, and this looks like you have a machine gun here. You have an AA weapon. Oh yeah, that looks like it's an M16. 12 firepower factors. Wow. Okay. Um, these elements are the same, except here you have the 667 assault engineers with one heavy and one medium. Whereas in the classic game, you have two mediums and one heavy. All right, and everything here looks pretty much the same as this classic squad leader game, except here you have much more detailed armor. Weather conditions do not exist in the classic game, only as SSRs. Um, in the classic game, as you can see, it was one squad per hex, and here it says no American MMC may set up adjacent to any other MMC. The Stug 3 is equipped with Schurzlen. I've never played that before. And here the OB is predefined. And I believe, let's see, on the scenario for the classic game, it just says that the American player gets one module on turn 4 and another in turn 7. The modules are drawn prior to the rally phase of the indicated turn. Okay, but here they seem to be predetermined, right here. And battlefield integrity, you'll never get me to play with battlefield integrity, even if my life depended on it. I do not like the rule. I do not believe that it reflects the reality. An example of that would be U.S. Machine gun squads in the Pacific Theater of Operations. How many times have there have been stories reported of heroism on the part of the American side, sticking to their position and gunning down 100 times the amount of enemies that confronted them. One machine gun nest, 250 KIAs in front of the machine gun nest before the enemy could take out the U.S. machine gun nest. So, yeah. And it also states in the ASL rules that this is really discouraged to be used. That's my take on it. You might be different. Now, in the opening game, as you can see, it does say here, let me zoom up, and this is a copy of the scenario card right here. Okay. Set up last on any whole hex on board 4, at least 5 whole hexes away, inclusive of placement, from the west edge of board 4. So this is the west edge right here. Okay, let me minimize it so you can see it. And here. So 5 hexes away and on whole hexes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it says inclusive of 5. Now, unless you're suicidal and you want to advance in the open, what you'd like to do is set them up as close to the Germans as possible. And over here, I have 2 squads. Well, I have 1 squad, because you cannot set up with more than 1 MMC per hex. But you have 1 squad with 2 MMGs. This gives this fire group a total firepower factors of 8. The squad, by firing the 2 MMGs, would, I believe, give up its inherent firepower. We can look that rule up in the classic game right here rather quickly. I could be wrong. Okay. Well, a squad may fire any combination of 2 MGs with normal MG firepower effect in excess of 4 factors, but in so doing forfeits its own inherent firepower for that turn. So we're good. Yeah, we're on the right path. 8 over there, and look here. 2 heavies at 16 firepower factors with a range of 20 and a -2 liter. Now, wire, I highly recommend it that you put the wire in a woods hex. I'm not sure if you can put it in a building, and the reason being is when his armored fighting vehicles come in to play, if you have wire, let's say across this path here, right? All the AFE needs to do is go through that hex and the wire is gone. Now, what's the purpose of, as you can see, this is in the woods as well. What's the purpose of putting it in wire? Well, it will impede his advance, right? And if he does come into these hexes, let's say, I don't have that magical circle, so I'm going to use a target. If he does come in these hexes and he breaks, he can't retreat into the wire. He'll have to go back here, if he can, right? Same thing here. He won't be able to retreat there. He might be able to retreat here. Okay. Same here. He comes off the wire. You nail him, he can't retreat back unless he tries to clear the wire, which will take some time. Now, as a German, I have a lot of issues with this setup because my most valuable assets, Kelso here, he's a 9-1 leader, he has the radio to make contact. And, well, there's another valuable asset here. It's a squad. Squads are part of the victory conditions, so you have to keep them nice and safe. I always have the instinct to set up so I can get the first shot on the American, but perhaps a reverse slope defense might be more prudent, and I'll tell you why. Right here, the way I set up the Germans, this fire group and this fire group will prep fire and try to take out my 9-1, or my 9-1 and my at least one of my squads, which will give him some victory points. However, on German turn 1, and in this scenario the Americans move first, I am expecting this group of infantry to either come in anywhere on the north or south edge, but not both. So, of course, I am going to try and damage him and damage him. And the way I set up the my bazookas, I really don't have anything to cover him. But to cover my American assets here. But bazookas are pretty useless in any case. For example, a bazooka if you get a frontal hit, you need a +3 to get a KIA, side 4, and the only way I can get him is with a 6 or less die roll, is with a hitting him in the rear with a 6. Trucks and jeeps are a 10 to kill, which is great. Do I have any trucks? A few. What am I going to put on them? Not much. And I'm going to keep them away from the MGs and out of the way of the bazookas. So is this setup prudent? We'll see. Now, don't forget, your German reinforcements come in on turn 1, but the American reinforcements come in only on turn 5, and they come in on the east edge, so they have to advance through Europe. The other thing you can do is set up your entrenchments there, skulk, and advance into position during your advance phase. But that carries a risk that the Americans will advance, and will advance very close to your position. Let's try out turn 1. Okay, and let's go down the checklist and see how things can transpire. So we start with rally phase. Rally phase of the American turn 1. So based on the advanced sequence of play, we have to remove roadblocks, wrecks, and TI counters, and then to be found, repair malfunctioning armored fighting vehicles, and support weapons, none, rally broken units, none, establish and maintain radio contact. Does the American player have artillery? Yes, he does. The radio is with midrow. And usually what I like to do is here, info, user label 1, go down here and say module US module equals, we'll roll for that. Okay, line number 2 is radio contact. And square brackets, yes, no. And you can edit this so you can keep track of what's going on. Excuse me. And the last line is fire emissions, or how much do you have left. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll for that. First of all, medrow needs a 9 to establish radio contact. Okay, so let's roll for that. 6, he has it. All right, we'll change that soon. Let's look at the rules and see what kind of module we'll roll for. So 1d6 in this case, that's a 2. A 2 is, for an American, is an 80 millimeter. So you can change the first one to 80 Mike Mike. Change the first line, second line, say yes. So next turn he'll need to roll an 11. Now we'll roll for the number of missions. That's 4. Awesome. 4. Now in the basic game, an 80 millimeter is still 12 firepower factors. So medrow can put the AR in his line of sight. The line of sight is a free LOS check. So you cannot put it here, and right there is right on the hex spine. You can put it there, and I think you can also put it down here. Well, we need a 1 or a 2 and a 1d6, so let's put it there. All right. Okay, we established radio contact, now Kelso. We can clone this. Clone. And just edit it. Line 1 is German. And let's roll for the German OBA. I think it's a 3. 3 means, I think it's slightly higher than 80 millimeter. No, it is. It's still 80 millimeter. Darn it. Okay, 80 millimeter, and how many fire emissions? 2. Okay, and a radio contact, he needs a 7. He gets it. That was a good roll. Okay, so we already said yes to that, and only 2. All right, and let's put that AR down, probably here. That's in his LOS. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, it's not in his LOS. Woods block, and here are the same level blocks. So he can end up, I guess, putting it here. It would affect the wire. Yep. And not quite the hex I was supposed to be targeting. Oh, it's a blind hex. So yeah, let's put it there. All right. Horrible position. Is it? Is it? Is it a horrible position? I just established that he does not have LOS to me, and he does not have an LOS to me. Awesome. But conversely, he can only fend off an attack from here. So we established radio contact. That's great. Going down further down the checklist, correct or withdraw spotting rounds, that we'll do next turn. Visibility, star shell, remove the aim counters, and let's move on to prep fire. Now, ordinarily in prep fire, you make an LOS check. You're considered that you have fired. Now, let's go ahead and prep fire some units, okay? Advance that. You can advance the wheel if you want. I personally, in this module, I like to have it up here. I don't like the wheel, to be honest with you. All right, so it looks that it's evident that Shaw does have LOS to these guys up here. So let's just check it. We're declaring it. LOS, come on, clear LOS. And that was a range of 7, I believe, but it doesn't matter because all this squad is going to do is fire the 2 HMGs, and there's a +2 modifier for the entrenchment, -2 for the leader, even. So 16 firepower factors, write that in your log, and +2. No, +0. All right, roll. 9 on the 16 table is a 9. It's a 1 morale check, so he needs to roll a 6 or less. Write that in your log. Rolls. He makes it, and he prep fired. Next, Shaw will fire here. All right, 2 MMGs at 8 up 1. +2 for the entrenchment, -1 for the leader. There is no temp for height advantage. All right, 12, and he breaks both MMGs. Flip. Flip. All right, and now let's move. Okay, this fellow will move here, 2. This fellow will move 1, 2, 3. This squad will move 1, 2, and 3. And the leader will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miller will advance 1, 2. Squad will advance 1, 2, 3. We can put a movement shell on him. This squad will move 1, 2, and 3. This squad can move 1, 2. Let's put them there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can advance them onto the wire because they don't have any support weapons. We're good. These guys, though, I'm not too sure. So they will go 1, 2, 3. This squad with the bazooka will go 1, 2, and 3. And the squad will go 1, 2. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's put movement trails here. And movement trails there. Okay. And a movement trail here. Okay. I believe this is a blind hex. That's all for movement. All right, let's move on to defensive fire. I'm going to see if I have a clear LOS to this hex from up here. So let's defensive fire. And I believe I do, clear LOS. So this will be an 8 down 2. 7 goes down to 5. On the A table is a 2 morale check. And now the American squad needs 4 or less. Let's roll. He breaks. So you bring him back to there. There's no penetration because I'm firing from a level 2 hex. And break him. Alright, he prep fired. And let's check LOS in any case. Yep. So I gotta fire this unit. I declared it. Okay, he doesn't break his weapon. So we'll waste because I could have subsequently fired. I could have fired on the broken unit here, or even there. Okay. I cannot fire at their origin. I'm pretty sure this is a blind hex, but at least one unit moved through here. Nope. Okay. So let's see if Kelso has anywhere he can fire at. Can't fire here, and he can't fire there. So that was a pretty safe advance. Just to be on the up and up, I'll fire because I was using the machine gun there. Deadly roll. That would have been a 3. That would have probably been a KIA if I fired anywhere in the open. Okay, and this fellow doesn't have a LS anywhere. Let's see if that open hex. Poink. There you go. At a range of 7. Alright, so we have one unit that moved through there and one unit that moved there. We fired there. And what we have here is a range of 7, so the 2 is good. We have a 4 down 2. And let's roll it. Darn it. That's an 11. Down 2, we got a 9. On the 4 table, it's no effect. Yep. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So they got away scot-free. They didn't, but they will be able to write to their leader. So, on to advancing fire. This fellow has LOS to there. He doesn't. He doesn't. He broke. These guys cannot see pretty much anything except this guy can probably see him. But the MMG cannot fire. Alright, let's see what we can do about this fellow here. Alright, loss. It's down the hex point, it's clear. So that's a 2 up 2. Let's fire. That's nothing. So he advance fired. I think he has a loss to the same area right there. Range of 7, so it's half twice. So it's a 1 up 2. And that's nothing. Alright. These fellows here, he cannot fire his MG. And I don't think from where he stands he has any LOS to any unit. Nope. He does. Not to there, but to here. Okay, so that would be a 2 up. 2 up. No. Let's check that range. 7 again, so it would be a 1 up 2. in the classic game, you don't have a sniper to activate, so and if you're firing inherent firepower, use it. That's a 6. Modified to an 8 for the terrain effect modifier, so that's nothing. And he advanced fired. Okay, onto route phase, so we'll remove all fire and moves. The only unit that must route is this unit. He can route to his leader back there. He's broken, but not the arm. The German player has nobody to route. Okay, so on to advanced phase. And at this stage of the game, you can pretty much advance here, and he'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's away. So we have a 6 up 1. Or he can stay where he is, because then he'll lose sight of his AR, and most certainly he'll end up getting inflicted with a 12 firepower and no modifier to the dice roll. And if the German rolls a 3, he'll kill Medro, so he'll stay where he is. This squad can advance there. These fellows can advance here, and they'll form probably a fire group against this guy, or we can have a fire group between these two units up here, and then this fellow will try and take out this fellow. This squad will try to take out this squad. Do they advance onto the wire? I'm not sure how these guys became 2 squads, but let's say they will, and they can always move 1 movement factor off the wire. They're not holding any support weapons, so off they go. Advancing. Okay. Close combat, we'll determine the accuracy for each AR. First with the one in here, and 2 Sierra 7. 1 or 2 for it to be accurate. 1, it's accurate, and he has a LOS to it. So let's increase that to a spotting round and leave it where it is. And then the German player will do the same thing with his AR, 1 or 2. 1, it's accurate. Increase. Will he correct it? I'm not sure. So it's a free LOS check to see where he can land, I believe. He can correct it to here and keep it during the next rally phase. If he maintains radio contact, he can correct it to there. And this 7 hex area will be problematic for the US player to advance in. Now, this would take us to German turn 1, where these fellows would, this regimental elements would advance either on the north or the south edge of the board. I'm going to end this video here and probably consider doing another short video. I think in terms of length, I've really gone longer than most YouTube videos. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I think I discussed this scenario in length and gave you an interesting comparison to the ASL scenario. I greatly appreciate you liking this video and sharing it with friends. Take care.